play number 7 Nevada in Friday night's second game. The men's basketball contact is Scott McConnell, and the student athletes representing Texas are Matt Coleman and Mohamed Bamba. First question.
I need this pick, though. This pick might be tough smell. Said I need this pick. This pick might be tough.
Right there. Thank you.
Mo, you said you're 100% healthy. How nice has it been to have a week off before this game?
Oh, it's been very nice. In this week, we taken care of my body, gotten better as far as, putting in good deposits on the court as far as practice. And it's just been a good week to just decompress and start over.
Daryl Moody, Nevada Appeal. Mo or Matt, both. Your coach talked earlier this week about some of the challenges Nevada presents in terms of having kind of a positionless offense and a positionless defense. Is there any team in the Big 12 you faced or any other team that kind of gives you guys that same look offensively?
Matt, you're first, then Mo.
Not really. It is going to be a new challenge for us. Looking at the roster, like 5 across the line, 6'7", standing 6'7", so it will be a challenge, to see, how we can look to different ways to score and defend. So.
Not yet. Same question to you, Mo.
Oh, I'm not taking any questions from Nevada natives. Sorry. No, sure. I think one team that we faced in the Big 12 that was kind of like positionless, both offensively and defensively, was probably Texas Tech. They played a lot of small ball, and it was a pretty good matchup for us. But I think Nevada will pose a different challenge because a lot of those guys can really go offensively, and we just got to do our job in guard.
Chris Johnson, Sports Illustrated. Mo, for you personally, what is the importance of playing in the NCAA tournament for Texas, and what would be the importance of winning a game in the NCAA tournament for Texas, and potentially more than one game?
Oh, this is what we sign up for. This is what, at the end of the day, this is what we imagine when we first sign our names and our initials on the letter of intent. It'll mean the world to us, and we know we got to do our job. Small victories lead to big victories, and hopefully we'll be cutting down nets.
Steve McGarrigy from the Associated Press for Mo. I just want to confirm, do you feel at 100% now? And just the way your toe, I mean, when did you start feeling a little bit better? I know you played late in the Big 12 tournament, but when did it start kind of feeling like you could play again?
Probably like a couple days prior to playing against Texas Tech. I was close to 100%. As I feel great, feel good in practice, so I'm just happy to be out there.
All the way back. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Chuck Culpepper from the Washington Post. Mo, can you describe what life is like when your name is on mock drafts all the time, and just the whole, do you look at them, do you not look at them, do you care, do you not care, all of that?
It's like almost impossible to not know where you are in the mock draft, because people always saying like, oh, Mo, they have you projected at so-and-so, and I'm like, oh, cool. But I try and not pay much attention to it, because I'm just, I'm here in the moment. I'm not quite there yet. I'm living the moment. I'm living in the NCAA tournament, and I think that's honestly the key to success. Because when you start thinking about things, long term and down the road, that's when your mind gets clouded with just things that won't help the team. So I try to live in the moment as much as possible.
Anything else for the student athletes of Texas? Yes, right down here, Karen.
Yeah, Mo, if you had to identify one area of your game that you feel like you've developed the most since, I guess, during your time at Texas, or perhaps it's more than one area, what would those be?
Well, you're talking about intangibles or just like a game skill-wise?
Here it comes.
I would say both.
Okay, so I think I've improved, like, as far as the intangibles with just like leadership and just, putting, it seemed pretty comical at first when Coach, kind of told me in the summer, but it's just putting that look on your face and showing that you care. Because when you have that look on your face, your affect on your teammates, it just rubs off, and next thing you know, guys are flying around playing very hard. Skill-wise, I think my game is night and day from June 1st. I'm just playing out there with more. I'm shooting with confidence. I'm getting into post moves, using my body more, and it's just fun being out there imposing my will.
Matt, this is for you. You went to Oak Hill, same as the Martins. Did you fish out some information from your coach about them?
I don't really know much about them because my 2 years at Oak Hill, I think they were long gone. They were at NC State. So I think I played pickup with them like once or twice. That's all I know much on them.
Yeah, Mo, oftentimes college basketball players' careers are defined by what they do in the NCAA tournament. Is that something that you have thought about or that you are thinking about as you head into this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at like some of the Texas greats like KD and TJ Ford, and the legacy that they left on the program is mainly based off of what they did in March. And the opportunity and the platform is there for me now. It's just my time to seize it.
Yes, and go right ahead.
This is for both of you guys. So Texas hadn't been to a Final Four since 2003. What would that mean for you guys to take Texas back then for the first time in like 15 years?
Matt, lead us off, please.
It would be a unbelievable feeling just to be a part of the team, to actually, to say like we made it to the Final Four, and to do it. It's bigger than just us. It's for Texas basketball, for the city of Austin. It'll just bring a different dynamic to Texas in general. And personally, though, I would love to have that feeling of being a freshman, going all the way to the Final Four. That's what you dream of, You dream of playing in March, and having the opportunity to actually be here is, why not make the best of it?
Well, excuse me, that's all very nice, but I think we got to take it one game at a time and not overlook any opponents. I didn't even, normally I make a bracket. I didn't make a bracket this year just because I didn't want to overlook anybody, and I want to focus in on our task at hand. But it'll be a great feeling, one of the best feelings in the world, I'm sure.
We have 3 minutes left in this session. Next question's right here.
Yeah, Matt, they have some big guards, but overall, up front, you guys are a lot bigger than them with Mo and Dylan and Jericho. How important will it be to establish the big guys early and often to try to take advantage of that size advantage?
Yeah, Matt.
As a point guard, I always want to find ways to get my big fellas involved here. So I'm going to do everything I can to, always make sure their presence is felt offensively and defensively. If that's getting them the ball, making them run the floor, just getting them involved. Because I've seen that we have very, very, very good bigs, and why not use them?
Follow up right here, Karen.
Mo, you ready to play 35 minutes? How's the toe?
I'm ready to play 40. I'm doing well. My wind is back from being out 3 or 4 games. I'm doing well. I'm getting back into the flow of things, and I'm real excited. Real excited.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll dismiss you, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Good luck. Okay, good luck.
How's it going?
Good to meet you.
Good to see you.
Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
Head coach of the Longhorns is with us, Shaka Smart. We're going to ask him to start off with a statement about being in Nashville, about his team. Then we'll go to questions. Coach?
Yeah, before I do that, I just want to say that, speak for our whole program, our thoughts and prayers are with the loved ones of Augie Garrido, particularly Jeannie. Augie was a mentor of mine during my first couple of years at Texas, and this is terribly sad news. So thinking about all of his loved ones. We're really excited to be in Nashville. Great opportunity for our team. Our team has been through a lot of twists and turns this season. We've had some great experiences that we've learned a lot from, and our guys have come together. They've spent a lot of time together trying to figure out how we can be better as a team. So hopefully tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon against Nevada, we can be the best version of Texas. Because when we've been that, we've done some really good things.
First question's on the left.
Shaka, Mo from the San Antonio Express News. You look around, obviously there's a lot of talent around here, but Mo is a guy that looks like, a potential lottery pick, maybe has the most untapped potential. Does he really need to step up and assert himself and sort of prove something, maybe to everybody else, but especially sort of to himself, because since he's been out and kind of banged up the last few weeks?
Well, and one of the reasons that he wanted to play college basketball so that he could play in the NCAA tournament. And now he's here. And Mo's a great team guy, so he's here with his teammates. He's enjoying the experience. But you're right. When that ball goes up in the air, that's what it's really about. And he's very motivated. One of the things that we've tried to help him understand this season is some of the guys you're going up against on a night-in, night-out basis, they're a lot better than maybe you thought they were coming in. And he's had some humbling experiences going back to November when, guys have gotten the better of him on certain plays or even over the course of a game. So I think the first step against Nevada is understanding who they have and knowing what he has to do to be successful against them along with his teammates. But he's motivated. In terms of having something to prove, he better. I mean, that's what this time of year is all about. If you don't have something to prove, there's something wrong with you. In terms of potential, I mean, we knew this when we signed him. Whatever NBA team drafts him will know this. Mo is years away from being the player that he will be but he's pretty darn good right now. And he's someone that can dominate a game on the defensive end. He's someone that can dominate a game, rebounding the basketball, and he's gotten better and better offensively. So we just want to help him be the best version of Mo tomorrow, and that will go a long way into our team playing well.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, Sports Illustrated. Coach, I think you just mentioned that Mo has gotten better offensively as the season has gone on, but what specifically about his offensive game do you feel like has improved over the course of the season?
Well, right up until the day he got hurt in our game at Oklahoma in mid-February, but he was spending a lot of extra time on his shooting, on his post moves, free throws. He was doing a lot of extra work, and it was starting to pay off. It's interesting because certain people in our local media were giving me a hard time about him shooting threes, but he actually had a 3 or 4 game stretch where he shot over 70% from the three-point line, got fouled shooting a three, went to the foul line, made his free throws. So he's gotten a lot better with shooting. His feel around the basket when there's traffic, when he has multiple defenders around him, has improved. His ball handling, his passing. To be honest with you, the biggest challenge for him is going to be, this is his first full game back since he got hurt. So kind of getting back into the rhythm of where he was and being as aggressive and assertive as he possibly can be, because playing against a veteran team, a team with a lot of toughness and aggressiveness like Nevada, he has to be that in order to be successful.
Steve McGarrigy, Associated Press. I was just wondering, since the selection Sunday, I didn't know how much communication y'all had with Andrew Jones at all, if y'all have interacted with him at all since coming to Nashville, and just what he's meant to the program before and after his diagnosis.
Our guys talk to him all the time. I try to stay in touch with him, as much as I can. He's in Houston right now, and he's still undergoing treatment. Andrew, he's got an unbelievable fight in the spirit that rubbed off on our guys before this diagnosis and continues to rub off on our guys. He's someone that sets an example for our team as a guy who loves the game of basketball. And if you go back to, when all of us first started playing this game, you played because you loved it, and you played because it was something that brought a smile to your face and a lot of joy. And Andrew's always been that way. The game's been taken away from him temporarily. We're all hopeful that he can beat this disease so that he can become the basketball player that he wants to become again. But right now our focus is on keeping him at the front of our mind as a central part of our team and trying to represent him in the best way that we can while we're here.
Adam Sparks, the Tennessean. Shock, I've seen Darren Horn, one of your assistants, mentioned in lists of possible candidates elsewhere. First off, what has he given to your staff? What has he added to your staff? And how do you take that when guys on your staff are looked at as possible head coaching candidates elsewhere?
I think it's a compliment to your staff. It's a compliment to those guys. I think we've got a really good staff. Those guys have done a great job with our guys. Darren Horn specifically, over the 3 years we've been at Texas, has done a terrific job with our bigs. Going back to Cam Ridley and Prince Ebay, last year Jared Allen, this year Mo and Jericho and Dylan and all of our bigs. He's helped those guys on a daily basis get better, and more importantly, be in the right frame of mind to be their best. That's an underrated part of coaching. When guys from our staff, and we haven't had anyone yet at Texas, but we had 4 at VCU, go on and get head coaching jobs, to be honest, that is up there right next to players going on and reaching their ultimate goal for me as the thing that I get the most joy and excitement out of. You got a guy sitting behind you named Jamie and Christian that's been to 2 NCAA tournaments at Mount St. Mary's, and he worked for us at VCU. I follow their games just as closely as I do anyone else. So if a guy on our current staff was to get a head coaching job, I'd be ecstatic. I'm one of those guys. When I was an assistant, I worked for different types of head coaches. I worked for the old school head coaches that don't really want you to look at anything, and then I worked for some that, you know, they're behind you every step of the way or promote everything you do. And I always told myself I was going to be in the latter category. So we're fortunate to have good guys on our staff. If they get opportunities, that's terrific.
Right down here, Shaka.
Shaka, how close did you come to getting the Martin twins back in the day? And number two, what problems do they present for you guys?
Those guys are really, really good. I don't think I could count. I mean, I think I could count on one hand the number of guys that we've played all year long, and you know the schedule we've played, Cedric, that are more dangerous than those guys. The challenges that they present, they're extremely versatile. They both play every position for them because of the way they play, but both of them, their natural position is kind of small forward, big wing. It's the one spot we don't have. You know, that was we had a pretty good one last year that has since moved on, but so that's the first thing, is just matching up with them. And then Caleb is a phenomenal scorer. He's always been wired to score. He's extremely confident. You know, he really gets going. His first step is very, very fast. Cody is as versatile as there is in college basketball. He literally can do anything you ask a guy to do on the court: rebound, defend, play point guard, initiate offense, shoot, drive, post up, whatever you need. We didn't come very close to getting them. I wish we would have. Those guys would have been all-time greats. I mean, their jerseys would have been up in the rafters if they'd have come to VCU. They probably would be up in the rafters at Nevada. I went there to see them, and I remember having some great conversations on the phone with their mom, single mom, who's just a great lady. And the boys, they weren't much on the phone. You know, they didn't have much to say, but they talked. They were polite. But I went to see them, and I was like, wow, these guys would be phenomenal. And then about a week later, they committed to NC State, so I obviously didn't make much of an impression. Then when they were transferring a couple years ago, I actually called them, and I think they expressed an interest in coming to visit. But at the time, we only had one scholarship, and they were a package deal going together. Those are the type of situations where you got to find a scholarship. I'm not saying we would have got them, but those guys are terrific. I'm a big fan of theirs.
We have about 3 minutes left in this session. Next question's right here.
Chris Murray with the Reno Gazette-Journal. You just mentioned the Martin twins, but Nevada obviously has two other all-conference players, in Jordan Caroline and Kendall Stevens. Is there a player who is maybe the heartbeat of this team, or the player that makes the team go?
Well, I think Caroline is as much of that as anyone. I mean, it's hard to say that Cody or Caleb, isn't the heartbeat, but I think what Jordan Caroline does for them is he gives them an unbelievable toughness and swagger and fight to them. He, just watching him on tape and on TV, he seems to be the guy that has the biggest chip on his shoulder of their players. Obviously, a lot of the times he's shorter than the guy he's going up against, but he's almost always more aggressive. Seems like he wants it more, tougher, more physical. And so over the last few days, we've been conveying that to our team because it doesn't really matter if you're 3, 4, 5 inches taller if the guy you're playing against has more heart, more toughness, more fight. So I would say he's the guy. And then you mentioned Stevens. He's as good a shooter as I've seen in college basketball. You can't give him space because he's got unbelievable size. If you let him get that shot off, he's so deadly.
Final question right here.
Yeah, Shaka, I'm interested to know how well did you know Augie, and you both or philosophical coaching types. Did you ever speak to him about the game inside the games that you coach?
All the time. I knew Augie really well. He kind of took me under his wing when I first got to Texas. He came over to practice. You know, a lot of people don't know this. Augie's a basketball guy. Augie played basketball, and that was, you know, kind of his first love. But obviously, baseball turned out pretty well for him. But he came to practice a couple times, and one of my favorite things to do was just sit and listen to him talk about his philosophy on coaching. There's so many things that I've taken from him. I'll never forget, we went to Magnolia Cafe. It was Coach Kuiper, myself, Augie, and a guy by the name of Ken Ravizza, who works for the Chicago Cubs. And Coach Kuiper and I said about 5 words over the course of 2 hours, and those guys talked the whole time. And I have this black book that I make notes in, and I just filled it up. And the thing that I loved about Augie is his passion and how much he cared about his guys, and he was unrelenting in expecting and demanding that people care about and respect the game to the level that he did. And to be honest, I think that was probably a frustration for him at times in some of the latter years. That's, you know, as a coach, that can be frustrating when you want certain things more than for a guy, more than he wants for himself. But Augie was as good as anyone at getting guys to see the light, and we're going to miss him a lot.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Cincinnati is up next at 11:50.